Bismillah, walhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Ma ba'd. Fassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Long time no see sa ating mga viewers dyan, no, sa Hermoso TV. And also, sa mga viewers natin on my own Facebook page who are also watching. So, for tonight, no, our topic is highly requested. No, people want to talk about the impeachment complaints that being filed. And but we want to take on the legal aspects, no, of the issues, no, impeachment. No, not more so on the political side. No. We try to keep things academic here in Usapang Karapatan with Attorney Alman. So, without further ado, no, I welcome you all to our our episode for tonight. So if you have questions, no, I will do a presentation first, no, mag-lecture muna tayo, short lecture, and then we'll discuss here. If you have comments, no, say you can we can tackle each comments or questions na that can enrich our discussion, inshallah ta'ala. Of course, this I would like to thank our sponsors, no, Hermoso Car Rental and AutoWorks Car Rental, no. They make things possible for us to have a show every week, inshallah ta'ala. And hopefully, no, we can make this on the regular, no. Medyo marami lang nangyayari, no. Medyo busy lang tayo. But, no, inshallah ta'ala, we can make this regular every week. So if you have topics, no, para may naisip kayo mga topics dyan, no, legal topics that you wish for us to discuss, I can, inshallah ta'ala, I can include it in our future episodes. We can have a guest, or kung baka may gusto kayong guest na pwede natin kausapin for, of course, related to law and, of course, rights. And inshallah ta'ala, we can do that. So without further ado, dalawang beses na ako without further ado. So, our topic is impeachment. Impeachment in the Philippine Constitution. Okay? So let me, we have prepared a presentation. Short lang, no? Kasi, ko namang matulog kayo dyan, no? And instead of learning something, nakatulog kayo. So, impeachment of the Philippine Constitution, we'll discuss the grounds for impeachment, yung mga cases na nakita natin in the past, no? The history of impeachment in our country. And the fourth, impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte, which is the more recent one. Okay, so, yeah. So the constitutional basis for this is, of course, our constitution, no? Article 11. There's a whole, meron pong, ang buong article na yan ay para sa mga public officers, no? Impeachment is, as I've said, is the formal process by which certain high-ranking government officials can be charged for serious offenses, no? Pag especially the executive department and the judiciary, no, and also the concoms, no. So sino ba ang pwedeng ma-impeach? Ang pwedeng ma-impeach ay ang president, no, vice president, ang members ng Supreme Court, the ombudsman, okay, and the members of the Constitutional Commission. So yung mga commissioner ng CSC, commissioner ng COMELEC, commissioner ng COA, okay, or Commission on Audit. So these people are impeachable, okay? So the Constitution establishes this to ensure that no official is beyond the reach of the law. Walang sacred cows, walang exempted, no? If there are grounds for your impeachment, pwede kang matanggal. No, this is also part of our checks and balances and separation of powers, no? If, for example, if the president is no longer doing his job, no, pwede siyang i-impeach, no, through Congress. And if, for example, also the members of the Supreme Court are not doing their job properly, okay, they are grounds for their removal or impeachment, no? Violate nila yung constitution, they betrayed our country, no, and then they're involved in corruption, so meron tayong impeachment, okay, pwedeng matanggal, okay. So, this is what you call constitutional checks and balance. Yung joke nga namin, no? When you say constitutional checks and balance, no? People are paid in cash, tapos yung balance daw is in checks. Okay? In checks. But of course, funny lang siya kapag sa pareho kayong lawyer. Anyway, so without I digress. Okay, let's go for the grounds for impeachment. So ito yung mga grounds. No? Kapag ang isang high-ranking official, no, as I've enumerated, yung mga president, vice president, chief justice, associate justices, no, if they are guilty, okay? If meron na silang nabaviolate sa constitution, no, a willful and deliberate breach of the nation's supreme law. That is our constitution. And then we have treason. Ano ba yung treason? Treason is a collaboration with or aiding an enemy state. Okay? Especially during times of war. Bribery. What is bribery? Yun na yung nababayaran ka na, no? You are being paid. You are paid to in exchange for an official act. Okay? So, you are accepting, you are soliciting bribes or something of value in exchange for an official act. Okay? So, yun. Graft and corruption, which is misuse of public funds. Of course, gets na naman yan. Other high crimes, no? Serious offenses that strike at the heart of public interest. And then, of course, betrayal of public trust, the broadest ground, no, covering major lapses or misconduct that undermine public confidence in government. So we'll take a look at the impeachment, no, the articles of impeachment against the Vice President Sara Duterte. Okay, so far so good. Please chat if you have questions. No, you can ask your questions, and we'll try to answer it in the end. So why is impeachment? Why impeachment is why is it important ba? Yun na, I think I've already touched upon this. Accountability. This ensures na yung mga matataas ang posisyon. Hindi porket Chief Justice ka na, President ka na, Vice President ka na, no? You are beyond the reach of the law. No? You cannot hide behind your position to escape prosecution for serious misconduct. But of course, no, legally speaking, the effect of impeachment is to remove you from your position. Okay? Tatanggalin ka lang, no? So for example, like in the case of Renato Corona, okay, he was impeached, no, by Congress. Of course, the lower house, no, he was impeached in the lower house, and then he was impeached by a vote of 20-3 in the Senate. Kasi Senate po ang may exclusive power to try and hear impeachment cases. So he was convicted, no, and he was impeached, no, he removed from office. And then there are cases filed against him. So yun, no, hindi ka makukulong agad, no. You will be removed first, and then you will face due process. Cases will be filed against you, and you will have to defend yourself in court. So pagtatanggol mo sarili mo sa korte at pakikinggan din ang side mo. Okay? But effectively, impeachment is for the removal of a person who is in high position. So president, vice president. Okay? And then the second one is maintaining public trust. Citizens feel more secure about government integrity when there is a clear constitutional path for removing an erring official. Okay? So, one situation was, one scenario, for example, we are now being attacked by a foreign enemy. Okay? A foreign enemy. We are being bombed, for example. A country is waging war against us. So now, the president, for example, scenario, nothing political, just a scenario. The president is not doing anything. Okay? Binobomba na yung, God forbid, na Zamboanga, Basilan, Sulu, Tawita, binobomba na siya. But the president is not reacting, is not doing anything. Okay? You cannot go to court. Di ka pwede punta sa Supreme Court and ask for a remedy. Because basically, the function of the president is discretionary. Hindi yan mandatory. You cannot command the president. Okay? The Supreme Court cannot command the president. But what we can do is that through the constitutional process of impeachment, no, pwede tayo bilang citizens, no, we can file an impeachment complaint, or our representatives in Congress can file an impeachment complaint against an erring high-ranking official. So yun. So we've had cases, no, na ganyan. Citizen yung nag-file, and then pwede ding member of Congress, specifically in the House of Representatives, where yung mga complaints kasi for impeachment, nag-originate yan from the House of Representatives. Okay? Like in the case that we have right now. And then protecting democratic institution by weeding out officials. Kung natatanggal natin yung mga officials who commit grave offenses, impeachment safeguards the integrity of public offices and fortifies our democracy against abuse of power. Okay, so I always say this to my students. No, the 1987 Constitution is in response to what we experienced prior to 1987. Okay, ano ba yung nangyari before 1987? Of course, martial law. No, it felt like people were helpless. No, there's abuse. There are numerous human rights violations that you cannot really deny. You know, because it's in court records. Victims were paid. No, and there's public record, no, regarding human rights violations before 1987. So, in order to prevent that from happening again, so anong ginawa ng ating framers, no? They want to include these safeguards, no, against tyranny, against abuse. So meron tayo niyan in our constitution. Okay? So let's look at the previous cases, no? Ito medyo Mandela effect, no? Sometimes I ask students every time we discuss the case of Estrada, the impeachment of Estrada, I just asked, was the president, was Erap Estrada ever impeached? Sabi nila, yes. Actually, I thought he was really impeached, but he never did. No, he was never impeached because prior to them voting, no, yung naka-deadlock, no, he was impeached by the House of Representatives. So the Senate convened into an impeachment trial. I remember nung bata pa ako, no, age reveal. Every time we go home, it's on TV, it's live. No, the president is being tried for violating the Constitution, for being corrupt. No, he was accused of plunder, no, and graft. Kasi tumatanggap daw siya ng huweteng payola. No, so because of the impeachment, no, complaints, the heavy evidence, no, against him, nagkaroon ng EDSA 2. Okay, so paunti-unti yung cabinet niya bumaliktad, no, sina I remember Angelo Reyes, no, and the other major members of his cabinet, no, turned their back, ano, against him. So ang nangyari doon, it was the Supreme Court declared, no, that he resigned. So hindi siya na-impeach, nag-resign siya. And then that's why the iconic scene where si Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo took oath in 2001. Okay, so 3 years lang siya as president, and Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. So that's the effect, no? Pag matatanggal ka sa position, succession follows. So as vice president, then naging president si Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. Okay, and then she was eligible to run again in 2004. So after 3 years, so she's one of the longer serving presidents. No? So she was in office for 9 years. Okay, then Aquino administration came in, and then Duterte, and then now we have Marcos Jr. So ganun yung nangyari. So the impeachment trial at the Senate was overshadowed by mass protests. No, merong for, merong against. And the rest is history, you know. So yun. So what will happen here is that after the impeachment in the House of Representatives, it will go now to the Senate, no, as sitting as an impeachment court. Okay. Then Chief Justice Renato Corona, no, he faced charges of failing to accurately declare uh his SALN, no, kaya yung mga government employees dyan, no, please make sure your SALNs are accurate. Okay, kung ano talaga yung nilalaman ng mga bank account nyo dyan, yung cash nyo, yung bahay nyo, yung lupa nyo, yung kotse nyo, it's all, make sure it's accurately presented or disclosed in your SALN. Yung mga SALN natin, okay, or statements of assets and liabilities and net worth. So, by vote of 20-3, no, na-impeach siya sa House of Representatives, and then the Senate impeachment court convicted him. So, yun. So, he was found guilty by the Senate, leading to his removal from office. So, and then, what happened after President Aquino, no, appointed another Chief Justice, and then Chief Justice Serrano was also removed, not by impeachment, but by quo warranto. But that is another subject that we can discuss some other time. And then other high-profile attempts, no, like for example, Andy Bautista was COMELEC chair. He was impeached by the House of Representatives. Yun nga lang, before he was impeached by the House of Representatives, nag-resign na siya. So yun. So those are the historical references that we have, no, relating to impeachment. Kailan ba nagagamit to? Nagagamit naman siya, but not in every administration. This happens kung minsan may political destabilization talaga, no? And of course, there's always the political side to things. Okay, so let's talk about why do we have this first and foremost, no? Pero kasi tinatawag na separation of powers and checks and balances, no? To fully appreciate the impeachment process before we discuss this, no, we need to understand separation of powers and checks and balances. So, di ba may tatlong branches? So, so there are three branches: the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. So, the legislative, yung Congress, Senate, and House of Representatives, no? They make laws and they exercise the power of the purse. So, kaya ngayon, no, pagka gusto niyo yung topic, next time yung blank budget ng BICAM. Okay, they have the power of the purse. Sila magde-determine kung ano yung budget. Okay? Because they have the power of the purse, and of course, may impeachment powers. Ang President, walang impeachment power. Ang Supreme Court, walang impeachment power. Okay? The executive branch, led by the President, Vice President, they are charged with executing and enforcing the laws. Okay? Managing the day-to-day governance and representing the country's interests, no? Both domestically and internationally. And then you have the judiciary, headed by the Supreme Court. Sila lang ang taga-interpret ng batas, no? So if does this align with our constitution, they say, okay, it's constitutional. If does this law not align with our constitution, they decide, they interpret. So for example, yung recent ruling sa Sulu, no? They find the provisions, no, on double majority to be unconstitutional. So that's why yung no votes ng Sulu kailangan respetuhin. Okay? So that's the job of the judiciary. Remember? So the Congress passed the BOL, the executive signed it, and then implemented it, and then it was questioned before the Supreme Court. So yun, tinanong doon. Okay? And this ensures, no, itong tatlong to, these branches are constitutionally designed to be co-equal and independent, no, with each having the means to check each other. Impeachment is one check wielded by the legislative against high-ranking officials in the executive and the judiciary branch. Okay, so baka may magtatanong sa'yo, bakit ba, how can we ensure that Congress is also accountable, no? So, accountable naman sila if, for example, magpapasa ng batas. For example, may allegation na may mga blanks sa batas, no? May mga blank s- sa budget natin or yung General Appropriations Act. It is now being questioned in the Supreme Court. Okay? So, pwedeng strike down yung mga ganong klaseng unconstitutional act if it violates our constitution. Okay? Because the petitioners in that case found may mga mali daw, no? May mga unconstitutional provisions. So, uh, the Supreme Court is asked to make a comment. Okay? So, and then, paano ba? No? For example, airing ang ang Congress, no? They make mistakes, may mga misconduct sila. They also have their own. Meron silang ethics committee and internal rules, but that really cannot happen, no? Medyo malabo siya. It only happened last time against Arnie Tebes, no? Natanggal siya sa Congress, no? So, and then you have the third one, election and oversight. So the only way for us regular citizens is wag natin iboto yung mga hindi karapat-dapat. Okay? So they're directly accountable to us as they represent us in Congress. So if you think that they're not doing a good job, remove them, no? Do not vote them. Do not elect such people. Okay? So now let's go to the fourth impeachment complaint, no? Marami kasing grounds dito na nakalagay if you examine it, no? The grounds were the betrayal of public trust, as I've stated, culpable violation of the Constitution and other high crimes. So meron daw misuse of confidential funds, which is betrayal of public trust, violation of 3019 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. Meron siyang unexplained wealth, yung SALN niya hindi na-disclose. And yung murder or conspiracy to murder, remember the video kung saan nag-allege I was, medyo basically my threat against the president from her. So that's another ground. And then sedition, insurrection, betrayal of public to other high crimes, and then the totality of the conduct daw ng vice president. These are all within the grounds, no? Betrayal of public trust, culpable violation, the Constitution draft, and corruption. So that's why I always say to my students, it's never about the ground. No, it's never about the ground. It's about the numbers. Okay? If you have the numbers, kahit pa ayaw mo lang sa kanya, no? They can be removed if you have the numbers. Okay? Because the Supreme Court cannot come in as a co-equal branch and question what is happening in the impeachment proceedings. Okay? They cannot dictate, no, if there's no violation of the Constitution. Okay? So they can file a flimsy articles of impeachment against or an impeachment complaint kung wala namang kahit walang ground, but Congress has the number, no, from the House of Representatives to the Senate, pwede siyang matanggal. Okay? So, yun. So let's talk about the key players here, no? So, the House transmits the articles of impeachment. So, the Senate is constitutionally mandated to convene as the impeachment court. So, the Senate will become the impeachment court, no? Each senator, judge yan sila. Okay? It requires impartial evaluation of evidence, and then may mga House prosecutors. So that's why they have already designated 11 members to present the case against VP Duterte. Okay? So the Senate President is expected, of course, to serve as the presiding officer. Okay? So ang issue dito ngayon, wala pang fixed date. Okay? The Senate, remember, they have ended their session, no? Wala na until July pa daw, no? To make sure that walang political grandstanding, that's their rationale for closing the session and then having it resume after the elections in July. So uh, there's no fixed start date yet. Okay? So the Senate must either resume session kung gusto nila or hold a special session to conduct the trial. So, paano mako-convict? If two-thirds of all the senators, no, reflecting the gravity of removing a high-ranking official from office, no, kung sa tingin nila meron talagang grave violations, they can convict VP Sara Duterte. Ganun lang, two-thirds lang. No? So there are 24 senators. So the magic number is mag-ilan? 24 divided by 2, 12. Ewan ko, help me. Siguro 15, no? 15 or 16, that's two-thirds. No? Two-thirds of 24. So, here, no? So, this was in 2011, I suppose, no? When uh, CJ Corona was in trial, okay? So, these are the outcomes. Pwedeng conviction, pwedeng acquittal. So, of course, if na-convict siya, tanggal. If na-acquit, acquit siya. No, she remains in office. Okay? And, of course, if two-thirds of the Senate find the Vice President guilty, she's removed from office. Okay? Acquittal is when, pag walang two-thirds, acquittal. So, pwede pa rin mag-file ng kaso but di na siya matatanggal sa pwesto. Okay? Another evidence will be presented in separate proceedings. So, separate criminal cases can be filed. Okay? So, ano ba yung consequences nito, no? Political alliances, no, may shift dramatically. So, yung public sentiment, sino ba yung mga pabor, sino ba ang hindi? No? Do people really feel that they were represented well by their representatives in Congress sa pagboto, no? So, yun. And also you have to weigh this with other constitutional disputes, no? Meron pang issue about the 2025 budget, no? It could mean, intensification of the scrutiny, of both executive and legislative branches. So, scenario may emerge where the Supreme Court steps in to rule the constitutionality of the budgetary alignments and allocations, and the rest could be the history, So, yun. So, we're on our last slide. So, i-recap ko lang, no? Impeachment is anchored in our Constitution, specifically in Article 11. Impeachment ensures high-ranking officials remain answerable to the people. No, kahit presidente ka, vice president ka, pwede kang tanggalin. And then, there is also the concept of separation of powers and checks and balances. Impeachment is a legislative check, no? And in closing, no, itong impeachment na to, it is not a merely political spectacle, no? Hindi siya for show lang, no? This is a remedy aimed at protecting the integrity of public service. In our system's separation of powers and checks and balances serve as guardrails, no? Ensuring na there's no branch that operates without oversight. There's no one branch that is overpowering the other. Okay? So, I think that's it. We'll end here. So, if you have questions, feel free to ask. Kung wala naman, I know medyo boring talaga ang law, and I understand if there are no comments or there are no questions. So, I would like to encourage our viewers to please be vigilant, no, in asserting your right. Know your rights, no. Itong, for example, the regarding the General Appropriations Act, this is your money. You have to be vigilant. Make statements, no. Comment on these issues. Make sure you are heard, contact your representative, no, that you want to be heard. And of course, your engagement is crucial to making sure that people are accountable. No, this is one way. Itong ginagawa natin dito sa Hermoso TV. We wish to inform you as to how uh, the law can work. No? So inshallah ta'ala in the future we'll be able to discuss more and more topics related to law and of course your rights kasi usapang karapatan ng ang show natin. And inshallah ta'ala. But before we end, I would like to invite everyone, no, February 23, no, on February 23, sorry, on February 22 pala, on February 22, we have a um we have a pre-Ramadan symposium to be sponsored by Hermoso TV. No, transformative with the theme transformative society through seeking knowledge. No? Fortunately, naubos na po. We have already handed out all of the tickets. So, inshallah ta'ala, no, so yung mga hindi sigurado na makakapunta, you can give it to someone who can be there. No? Naubos agad yung ating tickets, no, February 22 at KCC. I-remind ko lang yung mga may ticket, baka nakalimutan nyo, we have our lecture, no, on a pre-Ramadan lecture featuring 3 doctors, no, mashallah, Allahumma barik lakum. Dr. Darussalam Tungayaw Tapsi, no, Dr. Al-Najim T. Sarail, and of course, Dr. Muhammad Tahir Jamail Sali, Hafidahullah, no? Hafidukumullah. Mashallah, we are blessed to have 3 doctors to discuss about this, to discuss about transforming our society through knowledge, no? Welcoming Ramadan, preparing the physical, spiritual, and community dimensions for the wholeness of the deen, the unified ummah, perspectives from Islamic scholars, no, on unity and diversity, and the role of Islamic education in a modernized society and empowering the Ummah. Inshallah ta'ala on February 22. To our ticket holders, no, please be reminded that this will be at the KCC Convention Center, inshallah ta'ala, on February 22, Saturday. And then on February 23, I would like to take this opportunity also, no, mashallah, madami tayong activities, no, related to the deen. We also have a pre-Ramadan symposium, this time sponsored by Ehsan Foundation, no, in collaboration with Nestle, Muslim Lawyers in Sambasulta, Medilab, the Office of MP Liza Alamia, Ummah, Arizala, first the City of Zamboanga, MSA Wimso, MSA UZ, the MSA Adzo, of course, shout out to the Muslim Ateneans, and of course, the Muslim law students of Ateneo, the Zamboanga University College of Law, or Malasa. And as our part, no, I'm inviting you all. This has a medical and legal aid clinic, no? Meron tayong medical mission and legal consultation. So, what we offer as lawyers, no, there we have volunteer lawyers. You have 10 lawyers who will be there to help you facilitate. This will be on. We will be offering basic legal consultation, notarization of non-commercial documents. So, pag may mga problema kayo regarding the law, no, you have certain legal issues, you can approach us, no, on February 23, 2025, Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Santa Barbara Central School. We have dedicated volunteer lawyers and volunteer paralegals, inshallah ta'ala. And then, of course, on the medical side, no, dun na yung legal side, legal aid clinic natin, meron ding medical mission. So there are free pedia, adult, and OB consultation, free lab tests, CBC, urine, pregnancy, HEPA, RBS, ICG, and X-ray. And of course, health education. And of course, Nestle will be offering free complimentary snacks. No? Inshallah ta'ala, to keep us nourished during the day. Our guest speakers are Sheikh Al-Basari Kadil and Sheikh Murshid Salahuddin. So I think that's it. And inshallah ta'ala, we have here questions. No, may dalawa. Okay, Waalaikumsalam, Haider. And here, attorneys, the penalty of impeachment, conviction, automatically removal and disqualification, or can it be just removal? I think it's automatic. It's automatic that it will be both the removal and disqualification from office, and then subsequent criminal cases can be filed against them should there be probable cause against them. But usually there is. Okay, thank you, Ezekiel, for your question. So I think I'll end here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Thank you, Hermoso TV. Thank you, Hermoso Car Rental, for the support to Usapang Karapatan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Good night.
Rent a car? No problem. AutoWorks Car Rental. Self-drive with driver out of town. Worry-free. Automatic, manual transmission, and many to choose from. Hatchback, sedan, 7-seater, SUV, pickup, van, and many more. We are located beside Katipunan Bank, Giwan, Zamboanga City. Call us now at 0966-427-3860. Visit us on Facebook, AutoWorks Car Rental. Rent a car? No problem. AutoWorks Car Rental. Self-drive with driver out of town. Worry-free. Automatic, manual transmission, and many to choose from. Hatchback, sedan, 7-seater, SUV, pickup, van, and many more. We are located beside Katipunan Bank, Giwan, Zamboanga City. Call us now at 0966-427-3860. Visit us on Facebook, AutoWorks Car Rental.